What's good? Welcome back to the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. It's your boy The Dunn with another episode of The Dunn's Favor. I got my boy with me, Erich from Buffalo Fanatics. What's good, man?
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be here. Hope you all having a great day. We're ready to talk some football.
Exactly. Talk some intelligent football with people who know what each team know what they need, So appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
If you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, check this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics. Hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. What's good, ATM man? Rose Statson, what's good, man? So today we're pretty much doing a collaboration of talking pretty much Falcons draft talk and Buffalo Bills draft talk. Pretty much two different teams. You had one team that was one game away from playing in the Super Bowl, and you had one team that's drafting in the top 5 of the draft. So you got different opinions of, what each team needs. So I want to talk to you, Erich, for a bit about what the Bills are looking for this offseason.
So when it comes to the Bills, we have to look at, obviously, what in 2020 was a weakness. What needs to, what is a gap that needs to be bridged for the Bills to take the next step and go higher? And I think when you ask that question, there's a couple of major things that stick out, things that you can't ignore, quite frankly. A lot of people say the Bills were bad at running the football, and to an extent, that's true. But let's put that in context. The Bills' offensive line is a line that's built for pass blocking. It's built to allow Josh Allen to do what he does. It's not a line that's built for run blocking, and the run scheme is not really conducive to good running, if that makes sense. The Bills are an air raid team. Everybody knows that. But with that being said, the offensive line depth needs to be improved. There's a lot of uncertainty at the guard spots, particularly for the Bills' offensive line, and I expect them to address that in the draft. There's a possibility that center could become a concern with Mitch Morse concussion issues that have been a problem in the past. So overall, the offensive line is something that definitely needs improvement in the draft. As far as the defense goes, I expect the Bills to put a considerable amount of effort into sourcing a true cornerback 2 to play opposite DaviousWhite. Levi Wallace was re-signed, although let go initially. He is a good corner, not great, and especially when quarterbacks are not going to throw at Trey White. We know that. So when you're Levi Wallace, you have a lot of pressure on you to assume that cornerback 2 role. And then behind him on the depth chart, you have Dane Jackson, a second-year player who, while impressing last year, you don't really want to go into year 2 of his career fully entrusting him with that cornerback 2 spot. Now, the biggest need that I see overall for the Bills coming into this draft is defensive end. The Bills' pass rush is, to put it plainly, abysmal. The Bills' pass rush is not where it needs to be. It needs to be able to not just get pressure. The Bills' defensive ends and defensive line can get pressure.
It's just getting pressure on those third downs.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's the problem is they're getting halfway there. Mm-hmm. They're not getting the other half of the job done. Mm-hmm. The sacks aren't there. The third down stops aren't there. The times when a defense can crush an offense's drive, we don't see that very often up there on that Bills defensive line. So defensive end becomes a huge need for me, more so than defensive tackle. On the inside, you've got plenty of depth there, although we do need a big run stopper, and I look at a guy like Tyler Shelvin for that.
Man, look, we had an argument on this. Tyler Shelvin is mine, okay?
I knew you were going to say that, but the fact of the matter is, we have Star Lotulelei coming back, who opted out last year because of COVID. He's coming back this year, but He's getting up there in age. We don't know where his conditioning's at. And for Ed Oliver or Justin Zimmer or Harrison Phillips, for that matter, to play well, they need that big space eater next to them. That's just how McDermott's defensive line scheme functions. So I look for a defensive tackle in the draft and some significant help in the defensive end draft. I think this is going to be a defensive-centric draft for the Buffalo Bills. And the hope is that they fix this pass rush, because it's going to be a considerable issue moving forward if they fail to do that.
And you know what? And I agree with you on that. I said I watched some Bills games, and I really watched a lot of Bills games in the playoffs. I've seen some people in the chat say that y'all may need a running back, y'all may need another receiver, which can be true. You can find them in the later rounds. But
Right.
y'all really need to hit home on a pass rusher and putting a bigger guy next to Ed Oliver so you can get the most out of Ed Oliver. Because Ed Oliver, I've seen him, he gets double teamed a lot. You put a bigger guy next to him who you have to double team, you're going to see Ed Oliver's sacks numbers going to go up. So,
and let's remember this about Ed Oliver too. For maybe some of your fans who don't watch Bills games as much as Bills Mafia does, Ed Oliver is a 3-technique defensive tackle. He's not a 1-tech. He's not a space eater. He is an. I'm not calling him Aaron Donald, but he is an Aaron Donald type of defensive tackle. That's the prototype of his play style. So last year in 2020, without Star Lotulelei, Ed Oliver was playing 1 and 3 tech on a higher snap count and getting, like you said, double teamed consistently. Mm-hmm. That's why I said he needs that 1 tech next to him in order for everything to function the way it was designed, the way he's been trained to play. And last year was an anomaly. In fact, I would go so far as to say much of the 2020 play from Ed Oliver, I can't even use it. It's burnt tape.
Yeah.
Because it's not even what the player was intended to do.
You played him out of position. That's what
exactly.
You played him out of position. And trust me, as a Falcons fan, and seeing, when we had guys like Vic Beasley and Tad McKinley and these guys, we had some of those guys playing out of position. When you got a guy like Vic Beasley who's 240 pounds, you got him playing his hands in the dirt, having him at the end. That's not what he's supposed to play. He is an outside linebacker. So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I did see that receiver comment in the chat there, and I want to address that. I want to address that real quick. I'll bring some heat to your stream today, all right? I think the Bills have the best wide receiver core in the league, bar none. By far. And I'm not being a homer when I say that. Look at the statistics. Look at the facts. You can't tell me anything otherwise.
Well, let's keep us. Let's call a spade a spade. All right. Y'all had Brian Daboll as y'all offense coordinator. We had Dirk Cutter. Who's the better player?
Exactly. Now I have to agree with you there. And then when
if
you
we had
look
a better play caller, our stats would have been way better than what it looked.
Right. Let me say this. If Gabriel Davis, a rookie coming into the league last year, had not played to the level that he played to, I would not say that. If Cole Beasley did not repeat his performance from the previous year and, be a second-team All-Pro as a slot receiver, I wouldn't say that. If Stephon Diggs had come to the Bills from Minnesota and just kind of, puttered along or not played to what most people would consider to be superstar status and the number 1 receiver in the league statistically, then I wouldn't say that. But it's true. Now, speaking of receiving, I will tell you an area where the Bills struggle greatly, and that's at tight end. So the tight end discussion is something that I want to talk about with the Bills and the Falcons because it's relevant for both teams. That's a similarity that we can draw all day long. So I don't know if you know this, but at the close of the last season, Brandon Beane said in his end of season press conference that the Bills tight ends did not threaten defenses at all last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a strong statement coming from the GM of the team. Now, you've got Dawson Knox, who is a converted quarterback to a tight end, and he has been coming along and developing. Sometimes that tends to happen with tight ends. You hope that he takes that next step, and we hope to see that, but we haven't seen it yet. He did play much better towards the close of last season, especially in the playoffs. But the tight end spot is a problem for the Buffalo Bills. There have been many that hope that the Bills address that in the draft as well. But tight end is, as you know, unless you're getting Kyle Pitts, which we're going to talk about, unless you're getting Kyle Pitts, the tight end spot is difficult to get right. It's difficult to hit on. It's difficult to develop. It's inconsistent at best.
And you got to also know how to scheme your tight ends to get production as well as a coach.
Exactly.
I'm a coach guy, so I understand that.
So let's talk about this then. I'll ask you a question. A lot of people have said that the Falcons should draft Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
If that becomes a reality and the Falcons do draft Kyle Pitts, what is your hopes for him? What is your expectations for him? How do you see the Falcons offense utilizing that type of player?
All right, so I said this last week because I did a show on Kyle Pitts last Thursday on my draft prospect show on our YouTube channel. But the pick, I can understand the Kyle Pitts pick for a financial reason. Because we have Hayden Hurst and we, have Calvin Ridley. Hayden Hurst is our tight end, and Calvin Ridley is our rookie, not rookie, but he's still on his rookie contract with the Falcons. You're not going to be able to pay both of these guys. They're going into their contract year. So one of them will have to walk into free agents. That's just how it's going to have to happen. So
Even with the cap going up next year?
The cap going up, yeah, but at the same time, we still not looking good in cap space next year.
Right.
We had to make miracles to even get into the green this offseason. I think right now we're at 4 mil or 7 mil. That's all we have right now.
Yeah, I mean the Bills are at 4.38 if
Yeah.
I remember correctly from this morning. But I mean this is such a problem for so many teams. So at least we're not the only ones, and especially at least we're not the New Orleans Saints, who are going to be in the negative for the next century. So at
I'm
least
trying to
we're
figure out
not.
how they go sign their draft pick. Wow.
How are they going to sign pieces of paper? They're not going to be able to afford the pens. It's just so. It's this cap strapped offseason has been so just unique and also frustrating because these are let's think about this for a second. This is the NFL we're talking about. This is the most titanic sports league to ever exist. It's one of the most titanic businesses to ever exist. And we're talking about cap strapping in 2020, and of course, the COVID-19 pandemic is a big part of that. But there's a lot to this issue, and to see how it has forced teams to become, cooked spaghetti with their cap space is quite interesting. You've got teams doing all these different things, structuring contracts, in a crazy way, trying to navigate this. And I think that's been super interesting to watch, but I do look forward to better cap days.
Yeah.
I will say that.
I say about 20 next year is going to go up, but I think 2023 is going to be the year that you're actually going to see a bit different in the cap. So that's where I see it as. But as far as going back to Kyle Pitts, I can see a guy like Hayden Hurst walking into free agency after next year. You have a guy like Kyle Pitts there after Hurst leaves. You got to think about this too. Julio's getting older. So you still want to have a top playmaker, at the receiver tight end position. Because Kevin Ridley, yes, he is a good receiver, but is he like Julio Jones? No, he's not. He's not that type of receiver who's going to just go up and just grab the ball and he's getting defended by two defenders. We seen tape on Kyle Pitts, getting double teamed, still making the catch. So, like I said, I'll be down for getting a guy like Kyle Pitts at 4, or getting Penei Sewell from Oregon. Those are the guys that I would like to get at 4 if we cannot draft, if we cannot trade down. There has been news today for Adam Schefter saying that the Falcons are trying to shop that fourth overall pick away, which I'm high on. I've been saying this for a
Yeah,
while. We really don't need.
I would be totally okay with that myself if I
Yeah.
were you, if I were the Falcons, because let's face it, you trade down a little bit in round one, you get a lot more capital out of it. You might get a team that's willing to overpay considerably to get to that number 4 spot. And let's put this in context for the Falcons and Bills. We've got the Falcons, like you said, picking at 4, and we've got the Bills picking it at 30. The difference between those two picks is massive. Okay, because if the Falcons want to stay at 4, they know that they have so many players that they can look at that will realistically be worth that 4-round pick, or they know with a reasonable amount of accuracy that so and so and so players are going to go 1, 2, 3. Whereas for the Bills picking at 30, you have so many unknowns. You don't know how the whole first round is going to drop. So how do it's much harder for the Bills to sit there and evaluate 29 players or 30 players than it is for the Falcons to, evaluate maybe 4 or 5. Right.
Exactly.
So if you want to stay there, it's easier for the Falcons to do. But at the same time, both teams can trade down and still be effective in the draft if they wanted to.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I've been high on trading the fourth because we don't. I'm not saying we have no business picking it at that spot, but you look at it right now. The Falcons have been horrible on defense for years. That's what we really need to pick. But if you want to pick you a guy like Kyle Pitts, well, I understand that. But it's a lot of people in this fan base who say, well, we just need to draft Justin Fields or draft Trey Lance and let them sit for a couple of years behind Matt Ryan. It doesn't make any sense at all, in my opinion, because why are we drafting a top 5 pick just to sit for a year or two?
Right.
I just don't understand it. Like, I want to win now. We're trying to win now.
Yeah.
And Arthur Blank he said that we're not trying to we're not in rebuild mode.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the Falcons and I see, like you said, with the defense, I see a big need at linebacker. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Well, we
I
got
see a
Deion
big need at
Jones and
linebacker.
we got Deion Jones and Olakun. I think those guys are good. We need
Yeah,
like a Micah Parsons, like a Pastors.
that's where I was going. That's where I
Yeah.
was going. Micah Parsons, I think, is the quintessential player that the Falcons need in this draft in the first round. And I say that because he can effectively lock out your linebacker core.
Mm-hmm.
And he's such an effective player in so many ways. He's a good fit for what the Falcons want culture-wise, I think. When I think about the new coach that you guys have in Arthur Smith, I think that this is the type of player that fits the prototype, fits the mold for what he wants to build. The Titans had a faulty defense for many years in Tennessee. I don't think that the Falcons want to become that. The Tennessee's defense held them back considerably last year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at a player like Michael Parsons, I think he brings a lot to the table for what he could be as a Falcon.
Yeah, him or you can go guard. If we do trade back, you got a guy like I know Sewell. He's not making out of top 5, but you got a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker, and you have a guy like Rashawn Slater. Those guys can possibly be there if we trade with
Wyatt Davis, Tevin Jenkins.
Yep.
Both those players, Tevin Jenkins and Wyatt Davis, are players that I've wrote articles about personally for Buffalo Fanatics. Both players I'm extremely interested in for the Buffalo Bills, along with Tucker, who you mentioned, although I haven't written on him yet. But Tevin Jenkins is, in my opinion, criminally underrated. And Wyatt Davis is he's a beast. Let's just put it that way. I mean, he comes from a great program. He's an excellent leader, excellent in the classroom, very smart, perfect culture fit for just about any team.
Mm-hmm.
And he's that type of prototypical offensive lineman, the one that you can pick and not worry about. You pick him and you plug him in day one, and you say, this player is solid. This is what I was looking for. This is what I needed. I'm good to go now.
Oh.
So I think that's the type, when you think about offensive linemen, I think that's the type of offensive lineman you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because let's think about it this way. Look at the Bills and the trials and tribulations that they've been through with Cody Ford. He was picked 38th, right? And he comes into the Bills, and it's been a few years now, and we're in this point where Cody Ford has been moved around
So many times, yeah.
positions so many times. And I'm not talking season to season. I'm talking in season.
Yeah.
3 to 4 times moved around in the middle of seasons. So you don't know what you have with Cody Ford. Even still, there's an argument going on in Bills media and Bills Mafia. Can Cody Ford come around? Is he a guard? Is he a tackle? What are we supposed to do with him? So I think that's the type of situation you want to avoid. And
Yeah, and
if you
that's
guys are able to get your hands on Sewell, well, then you avoid that. Or maybe a
yeah.
guy like Wyatt Davis.
I think Sewell will be good. You can put him anywhere. I think he'd be fine except for center. ABT, I think he played guard in college, and then they moved him to the outside, and he's been performing well. We really need to find someone to fill up that left guard spot because it's been a huge hole for us. And then we lost Alex Mack in free agency.
Yeah, it was a big loss.
Yeah, so we got Matt Hennessy, who the last few games of the season he started and he played well, but hopefully he can convert that over to this season and play well. And then you got a guy like the head coach; he's the offensive line guru, so I think he'll be fine under
Yeah.
Arthur Smith. So thank you,
He
Brendan
should be
Mason.
able to build that's in a similar way to how McDermott built the defense. That's what I think of when I think of how Arthur Smith can rebuild that offense. Not that it needs rebuilding, but how he can modify and rebuild that Falcons offensive line. So I definitely agree with you. That's a great point.
Exactly. Brendan Falcons, he said, great video. I'm a diehard Falcons fan. Originally grew up in Buffalo, so follow the Bills too. Falcons should take Sewell or Pitts if they stay at 4, but really hope for a trade down. As far as the Bills, I need to see that offensive line and defensive line beefed up.
Right. Brendan, thank you for your comment. Brendan is right. I touched on this a little bit in the beginning of the video as per the issues with the Bills' offensive and defensive lines. I agree with him on half of it. The Bills' defensive line does need to be beefed up. That's absolute fact. The Bills' defense, anybody who's seen it, watched the tape, knows that it's built for speed. It's built for agility. It's not built to take a pounding, so to speak. So yes, the defensive line does need to be beefed up, and we need to see it back in the true form it was supposed to be in before Starr opted out last year. As for the offensive line, I disagree that the offensive line needs to be beefed up, and that's for the reason that the Buffalo Bills are not going back to being a running team. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
Dabble, he's the type of offense he runs.
Yeah, unless Josh Allen takes some catastrophic season-ending injury, you're going to see the Buffalo Bills remain an air raid passing-focused team. And that's what the offensive line is built for under Bobby Johnson and under Brian Dable's tutelage. It's built for pass blocking. The running game is a casualty. Let's put it that way. There's been a big argument about that too, as far as running back. But as for the offensive line itself, it's a line that's built exclusively for pass blocking, and I don't see that changing. I don't see any way that could change, barring some, super unrealistic wild card situation.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, hey, we're gonna go ahead and start our mock draft. So, everybody ready for that? Let's go ahead and do it.
hey, Sorry.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start our mock real quick. So
What do you
course,
think
Trevor
of the
Lawrence
Draft
was
Network,
first.
by the way?
I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love it. Oh wow, look at this. Denver wants to trade. So they want to give me a second, a six, and then a fourth, their first round pick for next year. No, no. I'm gonna decline this offer. This ain't enough.
I would have declined it as well. Not enough high end capital. There's capital overall, but not enough high end.
Yeah. So I don't have anybody else to trade. Let me see if I can trade with New England.
Oh, don't do that.
I
Don't
got
do
to.
that. You're on stream with a Bills
Well, you
from
know
the
what?
AFC East.
You
Don't
know
trade
what?
with the
You
Patriots.
know what? I trade with Washington. Let me see. Let me see if I can get something out of Washington.
We just got to exclude the Patriots from this mock draft. They're just delete them for the next 20 minutes.
All right. This, 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 and I can get. Yeah, I'm taking that. Nope. Trading my pick away.
There we go. Before we start the mock, or before we go deeper into the mock, what's the prospect for quarterback for the Falcons at pick 4? What's the
A lot of people want
what's the
either Justin Fields.
consensus?
They want Justin Fields or Trey Lance.
If you made me choose between those two, I would pick Justin Fields.
I'm not picking either one.
But if I was forced to choose between those two, if we had a scenario where it had to be a QB and it had to be one of those two, I'd pick Fields. It's just where I stand on that.
The Jets wants my pick as well. See, no, I'm declining that. That's weird because Justin Fields is still on the he's still on the board at 19th.
And she sure is. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's an option.
Well, I see Parsons is still available, so I'm going to draft Parsons. 19th.
I think that's an excellent pick. Parsons is like the gotta have it type of linebacker.
All right.
Gotta
So
get
do
him.
you want your 30th pick, or you want to trade it to Arizona?
I'm going to keep the 30th pick.
All right, I decline all offers. All right. Who do you want? You got Caleb Farley. You said Farley. You say you needed somebody on the other side of DaviousWhite. Then you got Eric
Yes.
Stokes.
I am going to. Is Tevin Jenkins available? Is Wyatt Davis available?
Let's see. Nope. Let me go back to. You got Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphreys as your interior offensive lineman. Wyatt Davis is available, but he's at 45. But yeah, you better pick him now because he may not be available to the next time.
I'm going to draft Wyatt Davis at pick 30.
I hope my person's available who I want. And he's not available. I wanted to get I really wanted to get Javonte Williams.
Mm.
But With it, Sante Samuel was still available.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, but I'm picking again soon, so I don't want to waste a pick now. So let's see. I'm gonna get Dickerson because I really need to shore up that left guard spot.
Yeah, I agree. It's critical to get that locked down.
No, I want my pick. Leave me alone. No, I like to keep my draft capital. You want to trade your 40? You want to trade your 60 first and 160 first pick to Jacksonville for the 41st for the 45th pick?
No.
Yeah, that's good.
At pick 60, I will draft Ifeatu Melifonwu, cornerback, Syracuse.
Okay, good pick.
That's that lockdown cornerback too that I was alluding to earlier. I think is the ideal candidate.
You know what? Asante Samuel was gone. Oh man, I should have picked it when I had the chance.
Oh no. It's the gamble.
Man, and I, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick Richard Grant.
Ooh, it's a good one.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick Richard Grant. I'm gonna go ahead and get him because I was it's either him or Cisco, but I love Cisco, but Grant is just too hard to pass up. Um,
Absolutely.
Decline or accept from Tennessee. Tennessee, they want to trade their 53rd pick,
53rd pick for
your 61st and your second and your sixth round pick.
no. I'm very exacting with these possible trades. You know what I mean? It's if it doesn't
You want to
smell
keep
right, I'm not taking it.
you want to keep your pick pretty much.
Yeah.
I decline all offers.
So we'd
All
be in
right.
the
Here's the
third round.
thing: the
We'd be
Texans
in the
they
third
want,
round now,
yeah,
right?
the Texans they want to trade um their 60. They want to get your 61st pick. They want to trade their 67th and their seventh round pick for your 61st. Sounds good, but you only getting one extra pick out of the deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand pat. Decline.
All right, and your guy's still on the board, so
So we've got Wyatt Davis and Melifonwu so far. Now we're in the third round. Um,
my third round, you know who I'm about to get.
I'm
I'm
going
getting
to.
Tyler Shelvin.
Oh no, you didn't.
Yep, I just did. I got Tyler Shelvin. I needed to get him there. Sorry, I had to get him. You, hold on. Hold on. Alan McNeil's still on the board for North Carolina State. He's good.
Yes, he is. I
You want to trade with Carolina? Carolina, they don't want their 73rd pick.
Mm, no, and I don't even see Carolina doing that trade. So
I really don't. They need all their picks.
yeah, I don't see that one happening. That's not realistic, in my view. Um, let's see,
Chargers,
round 3.
yeah, the Chargers they wanna trade their 77 pick for your 93rd and 161st pick.
Round 3, I'm going to draft Brevin Jordan, tight end, Miami.
So you want to decline the Chargers pick, Chargers
Yep,
trade?
yep.
Decline it. All
I'm going
right.
to draft Brevin Jordan, address that tight end spot.
I am going to and no.
So we're in round 4 now. Or are you going to round 5?
I think we're still in round 3. We're only going 3
Okay.
rounds.
Okay.
I just got a lot of extra picks because I traded.
See, now you end up in that situation where you know, a lot of people have brought this point up about the Jets,
Mm-hmm.
and I know we're not talking about the Jets today, but this is relevant for what you're doing with draft capital. You know, that a lot of people have said the Jets have amassed so many picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. They have. They have a ton of draft capital now. They've done a good job getting that. But the point is, that's only half the battle. You can
I'm
have
going
all
to
the draft.
draft. Yeah, I'm going to draft Trill Williams out of Syracuse. I love
Ooh,
see out of that guy. He's very
that's a good
green,
pick.
but you can always. No, I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
mean, you can
Jets.
have all the picks in the world, but if you don't hit on the picks, what are they worth?
Exactly.
So, Trill Williams, that's a good pick. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you say you want the tight end for Miami?
Yeah, Brevin Jordan, lock it up.
Let me see if he's still available. He might not be available. Yeah, he's gone.
Ah,
Yep.
okay,
But you
all
know
right.
who else is a good tight end on this list that I've seen tape off of? I like
Is Tommy Tremble available? Let me
tight
ask you
end.
that. Yes, Notre Dame.
I think he's gone too. Yeah, he's gone. It's like they ate up all the tight ends. But
Hmm.
another guy like Keelan Granson from SMU, he's good. You might want to go
Yeah.
look at some tape out of him.
Yeah.
All right, what's your
Round
next
3.
position? Who you want to pick?
Let's take a look at defensive end. See who's still on the board.
You got Quincy Roche, Jordan Smith. Cameron Sample from Tulane. I was just seeing some tape out of him. He looked good.
Hmm. Let's go with Sample. Address that defensive end spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good pick right there. I'm good. And all right, so let's go back over our picks. I picked Parsons out of Penn State with a 19th overall pick. You chose Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State. Second round, I chose Landon Dickerson from Alabama, and I chose Richard Grant from UCF. You chose Malafalo. How you say his name again?
Ifitu Melifonwu.
Afitu Melifonwu, yeah, from Syracuse, and I chose Tyler Shelvin in the third round, and Trill Williams, and then you chose Cameron Temple.
Indeed.
So, I think that was good. Good pick.
Yeah, it was a good mock. I enjoyed that. It was nice. Sometimes, sometimes they fall how you want them to, and sometimes they don't. So
by the time Parsons needs to be paid, if he's still broke, that's a problem.
Oh, King, you ain't got to worry about that. By the time Parsons needs to be paid on the end of that 5-year rookie deal, the cap will be at $300 million.
Yeah, but yeah, that'd
don't
be
even
like
worry.
2020. Yeah, that'd be 2026. Like by that
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
we'd be able. And then by that time, I don't know if it'd be another CBA, but they trying. I heard some news like last year that they want to have designated contracts on each team. Like you can choose up to 3 players that won't add to the cap. You can just pay them. I think
Right.
that'd be a good thing right there. You can pay a guy like in y'all case, Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, and then Trey White. You have those 3 guys. You can pay them whatever. They won't add towards the cap.
So Trey's already paid, actually. His first contract. He's finished his rookie deal, and then they transitioned that into an extension. Now, with 2021 in mind and all the cap strapping that we've talked about earlier in the video, they have restructured that contract to allow the Bills to have more cap space. So what Brandon Beane did was he converted part of Trey White's salary into signing bonus and pushed some money down the road. But Trey White will get a second contract, a third contract, really, eventually.
Right. Read these comments. Ghost Pepper said, Thomas Dimitrov left our Falcons so cap poor. They put a happy meal on the Hellboy.
Hey, at least you're not the Saints, Ghost. At least you're not the Saints. So let's just keep that in perspective.
Falcons going to have a lot of people upset on draft night. They might have some people upset by the end of the week. I'm telling y'all, by the end of the week, by the end of the week, that 4th overall pick is going to be gone. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be gone. We're not picking 4th. We're going to end up giving it to Denver, giving it to Washington, or giving it to New England. So,
I'm gonna keep receipts on that and give you some credit when it pops.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna take that 4th pick away from us because everybody right now they looking at that quarterback position.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's realistic. I mean, why wouldn't they trade down? You're in a situation where it's so beneficial in so many ways to do that. So
exactly. The Steelers drafted Javonte Williams. I don't know why they wanted Javonte Williams in the first place. They got Connor, but
listen, the Steelers are no. Just no.
Brandon said if the Falcons trade down and land Parsons, that's a good move, like a guard pickup in the early second. Yeah, I like that too.
Absolutely.
Or if Javonte still there at 34, at 36 or whatever we're picking in the second round, get him. I'll be laughing at the media on draft night. The Falcons don't draft Fields. Oh, I'm gonna be laughing too.
It's the quarterback situation is one of those situations where it's like, and especially lately, you've had some drama about Justin Fields come out into the Twitter sphere with Dan Orlovsky and things like that. The one thing I worry about with the Falcons, and you can give me your input on this, of course, but I worry that if the Falcons don't get a quarterback in this upcoming draft, then next year it's going to be a difficult situation because as from what I've seen so far and from what I know to be true, the 2022 quarterback draft class is less than stellar.
Well, you got the guy from Oklahoma, all right, and you got the guy from North Carolina, Sam Howell. Those guys to me, all right. Here's my take. Trevor Lawrence is by far in the most NFL rated quarterback that's in this draft. The other quarterbacks, they have to land on a team that can develop them into being a good quarterback in this league. I'm not saying that Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields are trash. They just need the right coaching. If they don't have the right coaching, if they don't have the right quarters from that coach, then they're gonna fail. And look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen has benefited from who's the quarterback coach up there? Um, Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey has
Yeah.
done wonders. Like Ken Dorsey to me, I don't understand why he hasn't become an offensive coordinator so far
Well, it's
because this
also
man,
it's also Jordan Palmer in the offseason
yeah,
because, unlike Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen trains every single day in the offseason. He's not doing State Farm commercials. So, it's important for
commercial
Josh Allen
commercials.
to it's important for Josh Allen to put in that work. He cares much more about his foot mechanics and the way the ball leaves his hand than he does Hulu and State Farm and all that kind of stuff. So it all comes down when you put it in context. But yes, you're right. Ken Dorsey's done wonders for Josh Allen. Brian Dable has done wonders for Josh Allen. Jordan Palmer in the offseason. I think it depends on what type of quarterback you get. Are you getting Hulu guy or are you getting work guy? You know what I mean? So it depends on what flavor of quarterback you're after. And especially this year, it's been very hard to figure out which quarterback is which flavor because there's been no combine. There's been no in-person interviews. There's been these, I call them self-gloss pro days. Okay. Self-gloss pro days because, apparently everybody runs a 4.2, 4.3 now. And, everybody's Iron Man, everybody's Captain America. So, it's, we're in this kind of like situation where, do we know that everything about this prospect is true?
And not only that, the tape from last season, some of these guys like Trey Lance, but he only played with one game last year, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Fields played what 7 games.
Right.
Like that's not enough for me to even like look at and say, okay, this guy's ready. When you see a guy like Trevor Lawrence, you've seen him win national championships.
Yeah.
In the past few seasons, and Zach Wilson, yeah, there's no competition with BYU. And then when they played against Coastal Carolina, they got his behind whipped.
Yep.
Billy Corrigan said, "Can you send greetings out to Rudy Us Budden and Rita Us Whedon? That would be very cool. Thanks." And he said your dog wants to go out. Ghost Pepper said, "Hopefully, whatever team draft Fields, they'll follow him." It's funny that in this mock, Fields didn't even go in the. He didn't even go in the top 10.
I don't even understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Just like this Mac Jones for San Francisco at number 3. Oh God,
Smoke.
I can't make sense of that. It's anybody who takes that seriously. I'm just like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. You're not. Mac Jones is not going in the top 5. If he is,
No.
man, I would literally fall out my chair draft night.
You want some more fire in the stream here? Let me tell you something. Mac Jones shouldn't even be a first-round prospect. He shouldn't, in my opinion.
But here's the thing: everybody's saying that they're comparing him to Matt Ryan. I don't understand why every time a
that's
prospect,
offensive to Matt Ryan.
Exactly. Like I don't understand why every time there's I'm not trying to say this the wrong way, that a white slow quarterback come out of the prospect league, or they was Matt Ryan. No, it's not. That's not.
Or even just pocket passer, if you want to put it that way.
And Matt Ryan is not even that slow. Like Matt Ryan has speed. If you watch him play at Boston College, like he was out of the pocket a lot.
Yeah.
He was making plays on his feet all the time. He had to because he had no line. Mac
Jones is a second or third round prospect on a good day. I don't think he's a first round prospect. I don't think he'll be a successful quarterback in this league. He can prove me wrong, and I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'll admit it if I'm proven wrong. But
if he goes to a team like New Orleans, if he goes to a guy like Sean Payton, I'm pretty sure Sean Payton can get the best out of him, Mac Jones.
Possibly. But how long is Sean Payton going to coach for?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He's getting up there in age. And it's especially this thing with Belichick. They're like, oh, if Mac Jones goes to the Patriots, I'm like, Bill Belichick is not a quarterback whisperer. He's a defensive guru.
Who?
Belichick.
Yeah, Belichick. Yeah,
He,
but that they
Bill
protect.
Belichick didn't build Tom Brady. Tom Brady built Tom Brady.
It was
So, you know,
the system that was there because you did have a guy like
yeah,
Charlie Weiss, you had a guy like Josh McDaniels, that was there to cater to build off the strengths of Tom Brady,
right.
and not only that, New England always had an offensive line to protect
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady.
Exactly.
You have a line. If you build a line around your quarterback, and your quarterback can actually just be in the backfield, just in the pocket for what 13 seconds, of course he's going to look good.
Right. And
I was,
that's why I stated earlier why offensive line is so critical for the Bills.
mm-hmm,
You have to protect Josh Allen. He's your
yeah.
superstar quarterback. You know, for
I'm
those
going
of
for
you
limb.
who
I'm gonna
for
go
those
off
of
a
you who
limb.
want to ignore it, Josh Allen got more MVP votes than Patrick Mahomes last year. So let's put that. Let's make sure we remember that real quick. But
Oh yeah. Oh
like I
yeah. Of course.
like I said,
Like
offensive
Allen did
line.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh Allen did play well, way better than
Right.
Pat Mahomes.
And here's the thing. Everybody says, "Oh, well, Bill's offensive line needs to beef up." No, because and here's why: the scheme is put together in such a way, the offensive line is built in such a way that it allows Josh Allen to do what he does. It's a give and take mutual relationship, just like how the Falcons want certain things to build their offense so that Arthur Smith has the tools he needs to work with to get things done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about the Bills' offensive line, is no, I don't want it all beefed up. I want it just the way it is, so that when Josh Allen needs to move, he needs to do whatever he needs to do back there, he can do it because he can trust his offensive line to know what the heck is going on. So, like, you think about that from the Falcons' perspective, it's the same thing. Arthur Smith is going to want to build that thing how it works best for the players he has at his disposal.
Yep. I agree with you on that. And like I said, man, like I'm gonna go off on a limb, and I'm gonna say they're gonna be at least at least 7 to 8 offensive linemen drafted in the first round.
I agree.
Because that position, that the line, the trenches are getting more important now. You have to protect your quarterback. People
I
just
think they
want
always
to
have been important. It just wasn't always recognized.
exactly. Yeah,
Teams
you
thought
can
that they
get rid of a
could.
quarterback. You can say, well, like a guy like
Yeah.
Sam. Okay, well, let's just get rid of him and start new. Yeah, that sounds good, but you're gonna. It's like a rinse, wash,
Mm-hmm.
repeat. Like you're gonna have to figure out how to protect whoever you keep drafting. You have to protect this guy. We see the same, like there's a revolving door of quarterbacks in Miami right now. Like, I'm hearing talks now that they may not be high on tour.
Right.
I'm like, y'all went from Tannehill to Josh Rosen. Now y'all got Tua. Now y'all saying y'all not happy with Tua. In a matter of what, 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, that's a
Like,
problem. I have an issue with the way Miami has handled the Tua situation.
mm-hmm.
Um, I think a lot of people give Brian Flores credit for certain things, but one thing I don't think you can give him credit for is the way he's handled Tua. I think it's been bad
Yeah.
for the player.
He need to just focus on building that defense. That's
And
what
then
he.
this drama with Watson in the offseason, should we trade for him? And that got back to Tua. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? It's if you drafted this guy last year, will they draft him fifth? Tua.
I think fifth or sixth, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, so you drafted a quarterback fifth, and then you turn around and you play the Cody Ford whack a mole game with him and Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then when the season's over, then you start drama with trading for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. So what are you doing to this kid's psyche?
It's not you're
What
not you're not trying to light a fire up under them because if you're doing that, then you're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, all you're doing is doubting him. You're basically saying, yeah, we prefer Ryan Fitzpatrick over you. It's so like if you're the Falcons, for example, I think the Falcons have a perfect opportunity They have a window, okay? The Falcons have a window, in my opinion, in the next year or two to draft a quarterback and have him learn from Matt Ryan before he goes in. You know, Matt Ryan gets to finish his career with honor and distinction and hang his jersey number in the rafters, right? Because it should be hung up there. But then, he can develop this kid behind him who's not going to come in and take his job right away. I think the Falcons have an opportunity to do it the right way, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen this year. It may not happen next year because of the cap. And then we just restructured Matt Ryan's contract in a way that it's backloaded in 2023.
Right.
So after next season, if it don't happen this year, it's gonna happen next season. You're gonna have to extend Matt Ryan for a couple more seasons.
Yeah, and I'm and I,
He's
you know
he's
it's
still
I would
playing he's still
yeah.
playing at a high level. He's still playing at a high level. He doesn't have an offense coordinator who just dumb on play calling. You have a guy like Arthur Smith who's been known to get the best out of players and to be a red zone threat.
Mhm.
He did that in Tennessee, and I'm pretty sure he can do that in Atlanta with more weapons.
What's the running back outlook for the Falcons?
We just signed Mike Davis to a year deal. I think a year or 2 year deal. I got to go back and look at the number. But we also got a guy like Carter Olsen, who we drafted back in 2019, who has yet to really see any play time. He looks. I know when he played at Pitt, he looked very well there. I think he looks like an Arthur Smith type of running back. Just a guy that can just pound the rock, pretty much abuse you on the ground. That's why I say if we don't draft Javonte Williams, then we have a high insurance policy under Mike Davis, and then you have Quadre Olison right there in the balance waiting. So I won't be mad if we don't draft a running back in this year's
Well, let me
draft.
ask you this. There's been some trending buzz on Twitter that I've seen, and especially in comment sections, I've seen it to where Falcons, people think of the Falcons, especially this has more to do with Arthur Smith, I think, but people tend to think that Arthur Smith should go and try and get Derrick Henry light in Najee Harris.
Yeah, some people have said that.
Is that something that, number one, do you see that as realistic? And
I
number
don't see that.
two,
I don't
do you
see
see
that
it? Would
happening.
it work?
I don't see that it could work, but I don't see that happening. Arthur Smith right now he's high on Kyle Pitts than anything because, like I said, he is a tight end, offensive line type of guy. But I have seen people not media but just fans say, well, we should get Najee Harris. But I'm the type of person, okay, why not get Javonte Williams? Javonte Williams and Najee Harris is the same type of running back. And if you look at tape of Williams looked like the better running back because Williams didn't have offensive line, in North Carolina. He was surrounded by a lot of weapons. So
And he had
you
to
get
compete with Michael Carter as well.
exactly. And so he's fresh. He has, but his legs are more healthier than a Najee Harris.
Hmm.
So
That's it's a similar thing with ETN. I've gone back and forth on ETN for a long time. I've been riding the ETN train. I will say now I see it as less realistic now that the Bills have signed Matt Breida, and for a couple other reasons other than that. But then you look at mileage, right? We talk about that a lot with running backs. Travis Etienne returned for a fourth season at Clemson when many said that he should have come out in the draft last year. So that's another point of contention as to this is a running back that's another year older. He's taking more hits. He's got more mileage and things like that. But then that kind of brings us into a whole another can of worms conversation with the state of the running back position as it is, which, by the way, I will be writing a long form marathon article on that for the Fanatics, and that's in the works now.
okay,
So it's going to be a good one.
well, I'm looking forward to reading that.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be. I don't know if you've heard of Tyler Dunn and over at golong.com or golongtd.com, but this piece is going to be 7 to 10,000 words, so it's going to be comprehensive.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can sit down for a while and read something like that. That's not a
Yeah,
problem.
I think it needs to be written because I think there's a massive issue with the running back position
Yeah,
in
it's
football in
it's
general,
yeah
not just in the
because
NFL, but now it's spreading to other levels of the game. And I think it's become more than just a football issue. To me, now it's an ethics issue, it's a morality issue, it's a fairness and representation issue as well. And it doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and it's become a problem to me that needs to be addressed. And quite frankly, one that I'm dissatisfied with how it's been handled.
I agree. I agree with you. So, but hey, man, appreciate you coming on, man. Talking draft talk with me once again. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Right. BF Spy, you can find me on Twitter, capital BF_Spy. I'm a writer, contributor, analyst for Buffalo Fanatics. You can find our content all over at buffalofanatics.com. You can find our articles there. You can find our merch there. Anything you want to have to do with the Buffalo Bills, you can find it at buffalofanatics.com. And make sure you go on over to our YouTube channel, Buffalo Fanatics, give that a subscribe, drop some likes. We have good content coming out every day. We have shows every single day of the week. We have articles coming out every single day of the week, multiple times a day. So if you want Buffalo Bills content, if you want to find out what's going on in Buffalo, go on and hit us up, please and thank you. We really appreciate it. And to you, again, thank you for having me on. It's always fun to sit and talk football with you. It's a great conversation as always, and it's been my honor to be here with you.
All right, thank you for coming on, man. Hey, everybody that's watching live, man, appreciate y'all watching live. If you watching this at a later time, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about the show, what y'all think about the draft. We will be back again tomorrow. Well, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with another King's Rim, and I'll probably be doing another draft talk show tomorrow later on. So tune in to that. Hey, y'all already know what to do. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown.
Absolutely.
Come holler at your hometown sports podcast. It's your boy The Don with another episode of Don's Favorite here on Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Hey, y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all again. So, hey,
Smash the like, hit the subscribe, do it.
do it. On that note, we'll see y'all later. We out.